after we got there, within about probably the next year or so, let's say it was built to give him a job.
That's right.
Because that was the depth. 1934, 35 was the depth of the damn depression.
Yeah.
He had gone to work when he was 14 years old, yeah. Finished grade 8. Let's see. People today don't realize that back in that period of the first 20 years of the 20th century, the young men growing up at that time, public education had just really started both in Canada and the United States. Really about the beginning of the 20th century in a large sense. Otherwise, it was, if you want to send your children to school right from the age of 6, you sent them to a private school and paid money for it. Public education was just...
So who got it going?
Huh?
Who got it going? Roosevelt? Teddy?
I don't know really the background of it. I think some of it emerged over in England. They finally saw England was a little bit of a leader in that respect, but I think it got going also in the eastern United States, states like Massachusetts, and they realized that the government owed a responsibility to educate people.
Yeah.
And they just, with the advent of mechanization, that you needed someone, a working populace that understood machinery and the principles, scientific principles involved, and they weren't going to learn it just by working on the farm, growing something, which was the basic deal back in those days. Well, just like what the movies depict with westerns, you know. Without just westerns, mostly just applied to the West, but still the same principles were young men who worked on the pig raising cattle, just like it shows in the westerns. That was the basic work, was working on large ranches and working with horses and stuff like that, and you didn't need much of an education to do that. You just learned on the job. So John was a product of that type of deal. That education was just for sissies, you might say. A real man who isn't going to sit in that goddamn classroom beyond the age of 15 or 16. So he wouldn't go to school beyond grade 8. He graduated from this school that was almost directly across the street from where we lived there in St. James. It was a big school, big school, about 3 stories tall, made of stone. Oh, it was a huge goddamn, as I think back on it, it wasn't like the little one we had out in Charlottesville. St. James had a big goddamn school. It's like 3 stories and occupied about a whole city block. And surrounding vacant area for...
And it was public?
Huh?
And it was public?
Yeah, it was public, yeah. Sure, obviously. That was it. It went from grade 1 to grade 8. The high school was a mile or so further away. And my sisters went to the high school
Oh.
when their time came. John did, about 1925, the time I was born, had graduated grade 8 from Britannia School.
Well, how many years between John and another sister?
The two sisters were just about 2 years apart. He was
11 or 14? When was he born? 11 or 14? 14. 14.
11 and 15. Grace was born in actually
15?
the end of 14, December of 14, but I always think of it as January of 15 because that makes 10 years from separating her. It's very easy to get it but she was born in 15, the end of 15.
Well, you were born on whose birthday?
Huh?
Molly's?
Yeah, I was born exactly the same day. Not the same day, but the same anniversary. She would be 8 years old. And she also could remind me I ruined her birthday party. So they were just a couple of years apart.
Okay. So they were 8 and 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So they were, I didn't know them. I really didn't know them.
But John was 14 years older.
13 and a half.
Oh. May? When was he
But
born? May?
he went to work for an outfit called Dominion Bridge Company. And they made steel for bridges, building bridges over roads, rivers, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And as I say, he was just about 14, 15 years old. So he had and that was in 1925 to 29, when the Depression hit in the end of 29, beginning of 30.
So you knew him when he was like 20.
Huh?
You didn't know him till he was like 20.
20?
Right? He's 14 years older, so you were like 5 probably with your first memory.
I didn't know.
Your first memory of him.
I remember he
like 20.
shot the cat, killed the cat.
He did?
Yeah, I don't know why the deal, but he had that .22 rifle, and wanted to get rid of the cat for some reason or other. I don't know why.
Oh.
And he this is right in the house.
Inside?
Such a
Inside?
deal. Huh?
Inside the house?
No, outside the house. But he was still shooting a gun, like today you shoot a gun and pass ovals, and you'll have the cops coming down. Someone would just blow a whistle somewhere along the line saying, I heard someone shot a gun.
Yeah.
And the cops will come running over.
Yeah.
Then you'd be arrested for firing a gun inside the city limits. Huh?
Didn't you shoot rabbits?
Shoot rabbits? Not in St. James, no. Out in Charleston we shot rabbits. But I can still remember, I must have been about 4 or 5 years old when he shot this cat. And he went up to it and I guess placed the gun close to it.
No!
And pulled the trigger and a .22 bullet went into it and the cat didn't kill the cat. It jumped up and ran around the house.
Oh my God.
Around the house. And I still remember him running after it and shooting it and finally killed it. What did I say? He was just...
He'd be locked up today. Wow.
I don't think he was completely all there at times. So, but the point is,
So he never continued?
He only had an 8th grade education.
He never continued?
Huh?
He never continued his education?
Huh?
He never continued his education?
No. Yeah. He didn't need an education. He felt he didn't need it. He knew enough. He could learn anything on hand. And I suppose he did it to a certain extent. Finally, by 1939, he got a job over the Canada Cement Company where my father had been working. That was his first or his second full-time job. As I say, the first one with Dominion Bridge just lasted 4 years. years, and he was making fairly decent money. That's when he bought a car.
Ah.
He had enough money back in those days that he could